hot off the presses. Grab your exclusive merch at the Viral Hip Hop Shop. Protect your inner G at all costs. And you tired of all these self-proclaimed goats? Well, be a goat killer exclusively at the Viral Hip Hop Shop. Link in the description. Promote your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News. Hit me, Sam Ant, at dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. I'm your brother, Old Guy from Hip Hop News Uncensored. And sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up, y'all? It's your man, Sam Ant. Viral Hip Hop News. Like my cousin said, man, we're in the building for a very special edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. God damn it. We got another Hollywood royalty in the building, man.
Yes,
it's
sir.
Very exciting. We got Kadeem Hardison on the podcast. What's good with you, brother?
What's happening, y'all? What's up?
Hey, man, an honor to have you on, like we said in the pre-production. And when I say Hollywood royalty, goddamn it, I mean it. Because before they was Will Smith, before they was all in Hollywood legend, it was Dwayne Wayne.
Yeah.
And tell them about it.
It was the shit, man. Thank you for being a role model to all of us young brothers in the 80s and 90s, man. So first off, all seriousness aside, before we get into all the good stuff, how you feeling out here with the presidential nomination, the presidential race just a week away and everything that's going on around us, man? How you feeling?
I can't believe we're here. I thought for sure this dude would be would get himself impeached in the first 30 days. I was really taking bets like, nah, this ain't gonna last long. Everybody's scared now. Everybody's, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And I'm like, nah, he's gonna do some wildness and they're gonna run him out of there quick. 4 years later, here we are. So I feel like we got, it's a really good chance to, turn the tide, but it's not over. It's not over till it's over, as they say. So it's still important that everybody keeps voting and getting the message out, and trying to take the right steps to that change.
Absolutely, man. COVID-19. But we're probably 8-9 months into it right now. How are you feeling? How do you feel with the new world now, the way it is? Everything kind of changed for us, and it's permanently like that. It seems like. How you adjusting to that?
I'm not as crazy about this whole Zoom, this whole Zoom world we on. I like meeting people. I like going into rooms. I like face to face. But as an actor, this is I've been training for this my whole life. Like all we do is work hard for 6 to 8 months and then have 4 months off for doing nothing. So I'm as long as I got PlayStation and some videos to watch, I'm good.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Now we see within this presidential nomination that there's definitely a line that's been drawn in the sand, either for or against him. It seems like it. Joe Biden is the kind of the asterisk to get 45 out of there. Is everyone's kind of either on one side or the other. But we see a very interesting kind of thing going on within the Black community, in particular within Black Hollywood on social media and things like that, who really promote Democrat, but unfortunately don't give the people viable information as to why. And now with social media, you hear the rebuttal on why we shouldn't. And now there's an interesting conversation going on. I don't know if you follow Steven Jackson, shout out to Stacks 5, but he said and expressed the same sentiments that we shared on the podcast, that a lot of these people are getting paid off and don't always believe what you hear these celebrities, particular Black celebrities, always say, shoot Democrat. If you don't, you're a coon, you're this, you're that, because they're being paid to say that. What do you think about that?
Wow. I never heard of nobody getting paid to pick a side. But that doesn't mean it's not true or it doesn't happen. I just don't know of it. Shoot, what do you think? Like, does the same hold true for athletes? If they say pick a side or you're a coon, is it athletes, celebrities down the board, or is it actors? That's new to me. That someone could get paid to kind of, well, I mean, it's not new, but to turn, you know what I mean? To go against what they believe for pay to, I don't know, keep the country in kind of a flux state.
Yeah. I was reading something about you, and I don't know if you still are, but a large portion of your career you was managed by your mother. Could you kind of talk about her influence on your life, and how that was, either good or bad for you to have her as a manager?
It was fantastic. Like, I always knew that beyond anything, she had my best interests. You know, she knew me better than anybody, better than any agent or manager could. So when it came time to make a choice between this or that, she knew what was in my heart. She knew what I've been talking about since I was 6, 7, 8 years old, like what I wanted to do. So, and you don't always listen because that's the same voice you've been hearing your whole life. So sometimes you want to reject it or just try something new because you've been hearing this in the same tone. It's like changing teams with a coach. Like he's still a good coach, but the guys just got tired of him, so they got to move on. We got to get new blood in there, new energy in there. But my mom's she's always known, what I wanted, and she's always had my best interest involved in at heart. So I always saw it as a blessing to have her on the team. It never kind of hindered. And if it did, I could always say, I don't agree with that. You could always say that, but you always knew I always knew that my mom was coming from that pure place.
So did you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Yeah.
I was saying, so who suggested that? Did you kind of like have the inclination, like say, you know what, my mom's good at this, good at business person, I should, hire her? Or did she come to you and be like, you know what, son, you should let me take over your management and all that?
I always wanted her on the team for the simple fact that I knew she knew and could watch over those who didn't know me as well. Work with them. As long as she's in the room, I know that my voice will be heard. I'll be represented. So yeah, I wanted her. It was mutual though. It was just like she knew how to do that. She was managing careers, modeling, more so modeling. But I knew she knew what she was doing, and I knew she could talk to people in a way that they would understand stand if I wasn't able to, because I knew she could talk to me in a way.
Now Miss Beth Ann Hardison, for people that don't know, is an icon in her own right. Did that kind of help you, kind of steer you toward your career path, or was it something else that kind of got you into acting?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with her, modeling, but it was just she's one of those. She's driven, and she wants to see things happening. So she would say, what do you want to do? When I was 8 years old, and you don't understand that question. Usually, I want to be Spider-Man. I don't know. Just get off my back right now. I want to watch TV and play. And she kind of figured out that, okay, you want to watch TV and play or make believe. Let's go into acting. Let's see, if you want to draw Spider-Man or you want to be Spider-Man. Oh, well, first I said I wanted to draw Spider-Man, so she put me in art school, and I drew and I drew and I drew, and I realized I was way in the back of the pack. Like I was like, I'm not nearly as good as these cats in here with portfolios and who are serious. And then it was like, well, let's see if you can be Spider-Man, and let's go into acting. And yeah, it was easy, and that's why I always knew that before I got a manager or the agent, she was the one guiding me from the beginning. So she had to be part of the squad.
Absolutely. Now, the first time I remember seeing you on TV was in 93, or no, 87, excuse me, A Different World. It was a child. And when was the first time your first acting gig though? When was the first time you realized this is where I need to be? This is where I want to be?
Wow. I mean, I was chasing it long before I got it. But the first, I probably knew when I was 13 or 14. I just seen so much on television, and I thought I could do it better. I could do that. I could do that. Everything I saw, from commercials to action movies to whatever, scary movies, I always thought I could. If they had me in that, it'd be better. So that's a 13-year-old thinking, and I think I booked the first gig when I was maybe 15, and I think it was an after school special called the Color of Friendship, and James Bond III, who we ended up doing school days together, and he wrote and directed Death by Temptation that we were in together. He was the lead guy. He was the main dude in the show, and I just came on and had one line or two lines, and I knew right then. That was the first gig, and that was the one where I was like, "Yo, I want to do this, but I want to have his part. I want to do all the talking." So I just kept chasing and chasing, and then I got it in a corner and I finished it.
So let's talk the Cosby Show. We seen you also, make some appearances on that show. How'd you get onto that set? And you talk about your experience working with Mr. Bill Cosby and all the other great people on the cast.
Yeah, that was easy. That was the normal way. Like you get after you've, I guess, accumulated a certain amount of credits or so, they start auditioning you, or just off your picture, they'll audition you for other roles, or they needed something on the set, so they called me, and they called my agent, and I got a call to audition for the Cosby Show. Took the train out to Queens, and went in the room with him and Felicia, and I think the whole family was in the room for this audition that I had, and it was great. It was one of those things where I went in, I had a bunch of stuff to say. We did it. They were looking for a friend for Malcolm, and I'd already been watching the Cosby Show, and I'd watched him have so many friends. I was like, oh, maybe I'm a new friend. Got on there, but it was a one-shot deal. They had me on once, and I never went back.
Now, if you watch the show like all of us did, you've seen how Dr. Huxtable and Mrs. Huxtable were proudly alumni from Hillman College, and then you got to open the door and show us what Hillman College was. Did you know at the time, once it aired, the historical significance it had, not only from Hillman College, but from a viewer perspective at the time? Did you know what kind of impact it would make?
No, at the time, I had no idea that there were HBCUs. Like, wow. I graduated high school and went straight to work. College was like a secondary thought. For me, I thought college is just going to be 4 more years of high school, and I was done with that. I didn't really understand. It wasn't made understood that I could go in and study whatever I wanted. I wanted to study drama. If I wanted to study this or that or whatever, I didn't have to do the same 4 years that I had just done. I just thought college was going to be 4 more years of school. I considered Syracuse because it was in New York, and I liked the basketball team, or St. John's because it was close by and basketball team. But it wasn't really something I was pursuing. So when I got to LA and we started shooting A Different World, it wasn't until Debbie came and changed in the second season and kind of changed it and brought a whole feeling. I went down to do School Days first, and that's where I really saw it. That's where we really saw, oh snap, there's Black colleges in the South, and they get down. Never knew that. And the next thing you know, when I was doing A Different World, it didn't feel like that. The first season didn't feel like that, so I didn't make that direct connection. It didn't really stick with me as something that was important. And it wasn't until Debbie came, and then it was important.
Yeah, how influential was she, being from alumni from Howard, coming in there and kind of looking at it and going, this was different? Can you talk about how some of the things that she did to change it up?
Oh, wow. Yeah, she made us, there was step shows. There was a pit. We had to kind of turn the pit into a place where all the kids kind of hung out. There was step shows there. There were debates there. Like, everything that was happening, the pit was our home away from home. Yeah, she just wanted to make the show more relevant. So she introduced the idea of topics like whatever's going on in the world, these kids need to be talking about, whether they're taking over radio stations and protesting and speaking out and addressing all the issues that were kind of surrounding the kids at the time. That was, for me, that was all her, because I was there before her, and then I was there when she got there, and I saw the difference was night and day, and everything that made sense about it and made it something that people still hold on to today, I think it's because of her presence and because of where she went to school, and that she could come in and talk to the writers and direct them and guide them on a path that kind of led us to where we are, or where we.
Now you got shows like The Different World, The Cosby Show, Living Single. You had it, back in the 80s and 90s. But you don't see those kind of shows anymore. Why do you think it is that now we're kind of in a love and hip hop age, and those shows like you guys show, The Cosby and the other shows, kind of showed us a different way for Black families? What do you think happened from the 80s and 90s to now?
It seemed like there was a kind of a shift when it was all about. Bill started it because he was a comedian who was pretty much telling his life through this show. And once his show was done, they kind of leaned towards comedians. It was like, okay, we don't need to get a solid house, and it's built on this foundation. We can start that with a comedian and let him tell his story. And the issues weren't as important as it was that it was comical. So I think that was the beginning. And how we get to love and hip hop, that just seems like the reality boom is cheaper to make. Like, if you got 6 really good cast members, you're gonna have to pay them, and then you have to pay really good writers to write this script, and then you have to da 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 da. And it seemed like the charges would add up. Whereas if you got love and hip hop, you can pay them much less. You can shoot it much cheaper. You don't need many writers. You just need some people in a room to flip some ideas, and then let everybody kind of make it up. No rehearsals. You don't have to rehearse for a week in order to shoot an episode of Love and Hip Hop. So I guess it just seemed like there was a reality boom, almost like the tech boom. They're not directly related, but kind of way things kind of blow up and then they go back down. The reality boom kind of took over, and then it was like, hey, we can make dirt cheap TV that's entertaining because everybody likes a car wreck. But we didn't have the balance. We didn't have the balance of, okay, we got love and hip hop, and then we got a show that means something, that's saying something about something. So as long as you got the two of them, then nobody's really mad. It's just that when you starve and you don't get no fucking vegetables to go with all that meat, you're sick.
Now, you talked about in one of your interviews, you talked about the reboot and that you guys, the cast, wanted to do it, and you said that pretty much like the owners of the show didn't want to do it. Why do you think that is? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I wish I could tell you exactly. Like, it's all speculation. Why wouldn't they? It's like, we got an idea. How about we make some more money together? We know y'all like money. You always like money. So how about we make some more money together? And if you're not interested, then okay. And the people, the fans are interested, and they're calling for it on the left, and the old producers are trying to get to it and be like, okay, well, just give us the rights to it. Let us just have the name so we can go out and redo it. And they don't seem to be interested. You can make up a whole bunch of reasons why, until I get them in the room and say, now why y'all mess around and go ahead and do that other shit and won't do ours?
That's true.
Then I'd be guessing and starting fires, and I don't know if it's time to start a fire. That time may come, but it might not be now.
Now, the grand connection between A Different World and The Cosby Show was Lisa Bonet, who played Denise on the show.
Yes, sir.
Now, at the time, I know she got pregnant. She played some movies that Mr. Cosby didn't particularly like, and they had some tension. And then it was said that she got pregnant, and they wanted to add it into the storyline, but he didn't want that. Lisa Bonet, not Denise. How was it at that time on set, during that time, playing the character that you played, such a prominent character on the show? And what did you feel like during that part of the show?
Well, it's wild how it happened. It happened kind of over a summer. So we went from the last episode where, Dwayne and Denise finally had a little romantic moment where she was kind of, leaning towards him. The last episode she did, and then the summer happened, and then she never came back. And then Debbie, so there was no on set. We weren't on set when that all went down. That all went down over the summer. So when we came back to work, we looking around and we got new folks. And Debbie was there, which was great. We were happy that Debbie was taking over, but where did Lisa go? What happened to Marissa? Like, well, and now they changed it up. Boss man said, nope, it's not gonna happen. So that yeah, there was, I was not happy about it because she was my friend and it seemed like she was getting, suckered out of a job and and all the stuff that we could have done together as a cast, with Debbie and putting that on. I thought it would have been phenomenal just to show, as long as you can inspire people, if you can show them something in a way, like a way to do it, then you, with television, you really, it doesn't blow your mind because you were inspired by it to go on and do what you did. And what if there's a pregnant girl who's in college who's down on her luck, or a pregnant girl anywhere who's down on her luck, and you turn on TV and you see, here's a pregnant girl in school doing her thing but struggling, blah blah blah. Maybe you lift them up, and maybe you inspire them to something else. I've seen it happen, and I was just kind of bummed out that it didn't get a chance to happen this time.
Now, Bill Cosby, I don't know how much you know him. I know you want to show one time, but now seeing what he's going through, what's your thoughts on that and just the allegations and him being, locked up right now?
Yeah, when I first heard it, like, I honestly thought, well, like, when did this happen? And I was like, wow, that was a long time ago. That was back in the days when, I remember part of the 70s because I'm born in the 60s. So I I knew about the sex and drugs and rock and roll of the 70s. And, I have no, I'm sure that I know they're victims to this. And I feel for them. But I just was, I don't have any answers because me and him wasn't tight like that. So I could talk and get a read on, is he the type of cat that would do this? Or is this some bullshit? So I never really got that. I couldn't really, we didn't rap like that. So when it came out, I just, I didn't pick a side. I was just like, that's jacked up. And yeah, I mean, it's weird when they catch you for that old stuff and then make you pay for it. And usually when you old and rich, they make you pay with money. But somehow they decided to make him pay with time, which is what you have, I guess, which is most valuable to you because you're older. So your time is short. So to take his time like that, I guess if you have to ask the victims, it's fair. And if you look at him, he said, I could have probably bought my way out of this and made some people happy, donated to this and donated to that, started this and started that. But is he a threat still? And is he paying for when he was a shark? Now that he's he's a older, kind of much less aggressive threat to anybody. I don't know. It's complicated, but that's other people's shit. I try not to get into.
Did you by any chance hear what Lisa Bonet had to say about the situation?
No, what she said.
Well, from the interview, it pretty much said, asked if she sensed the darkness. Bonet said always, and if I had anything more to reveal, then it would have happened a long time ago. That's my nature. The truth will set you free. Hold on, let me go back. Hold on. Hold up.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me finish this real quick, because I ain't read the top part. But there was an energy, and that type of sinister shadow energy cannot be concealed. That's what she said when she was asked about Bill Cosby. This is by way of the deadline.com.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, I would trust that more than I would trust me. I really like. I met him in that room. We had that audition. I think during the show, even though we shared some lines during the scene, he might have came to me at one point and said something else once, and then he came out to a different world to visit when we were doing the Tisha Campbell, um, um, and Whoopi Goldberg was on the AIDS episode of A Different World. He came to set to visit, and we never really spoke like that. Like, so I would definitely take her word for it, or Malcolm's word, or Keisha's word, or anybody who spent any extended amount of time with him. And Lisa's good like that. I bet you she could see something that maybe others couldn't. She was in tune.
Now, Dwayne Wayne, I kind of figure, how did you take the success of that, and how did you feel afterwards when the show was canceled?
I was, in the beginning, it was a great, fantastic opportunity. By the end, I was ready to go. Like, I thought this show is a show that should never end. This is a show that should run as long as Soul Train. Like, they should every 4 years bring in new freshmen and keep it going and keep talking about the things that are happening right now. So after 4 years, I thought I should graduate, right? Like, ain't it time to graduate? How long you spend in college? Like,
Yeah.
let's go, let's move on. But it went 6 years, and I still kept thinking, well, just the show doesn't have to end. Let me and old girl go off to Japan, and everybody kind of graduates and move on, and just bring in a new crop, and keep the same energy going. Keep talking about stuff. Keep raising awareness. It seemed like a blueprint. But that didn't happen. And then I was kind of, when it was over, I was all right for me, but I was just kind of sad for the people that like BET didn't say, yeah, you know what, we're done with the rap videos. We're gonna put this. We're gonna keep this show going. We're gonna, bring it to our network. Get it from NBC and put it on our network and be about people. I thought that was like a slam dunk. Like, yo, why don't they just come in, swoop in, since we are officially dead over here, and just take it or acquire it and then start it over here, and then give and keep on giving back. It just seemed like that was too easy. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to end. For me, it might have to end. For sure, and for Jazz and Cree, maybe for us it has to end, but not for the viewers. So that kind of was the only kind of feelings I had at that point when it was over. Like, it should have went on. I was glad that it was over for me, but I thought the show should have lived on.
I mean, when you bring it in that perspective, you're talking about like that could have been like a Grey's Anatomy now, or one of those shows where it just kind of the storyline continued and
never stops. Yeah, there's always going to be sick people, so there's always going to be need for a hospital. There's always going to be schools, so there's always going to be need for kids in school to be talking. There's always going to be something going on in the world. So why can't we just continually have new voices and new characters addressing this shit? Because it'll inspire people, and it's really wild to think that maybe that's the reason it's not on. Because it'll inspire people, and that's sinister. And that ain't got nothing to do with old Bill. That's on some way higher level shit. Like, why wouldn't you? You saw what it did for college enrollment. You saw what the Times was booming. Why wouldn't you not go back to it, but just get that pot stirred up again and give these kids some inspiration who need it if they struggling in this city or that city, or if there's too much of a void of something. Put it on TV. Everybody watches fucking TV. Put it on TV and show them a light, and you'll probably get better results than you hope for. Because I wasn't trying to get no results with A Different World, and it blew up. Like, we weren't trying to. We didn't go into this thinking we're gonna pump up black colleges and we're gonna get enrollment change. We're gonna change the world with it. Nah, we was just trying to do a good show and address some topics and then that other stuff happened organically. And it could easily happen organically now, I think.
Now, you guys had thoughts of, trying to do something, but you had issues if you were to do that as far as copyright, kind of taking a cast and doing like your own thing. But you guys, can you talk about having problems, with that, with copyright issues?
We don't own the show. We don't own any of the names, the characters. So we could go off and do, an alternate place and not call it a different world and change the character names and do stuff. But it seems like everyone is really fiending for that brand. And back then, it didn't seem like branding was a thing. And then all of a sudden, in the last decade or so, it's all about the brand. So there's a different world brand. And why is it dormant? Yeah, but the owners do not want to release. They will not give us free. Because it would be easy to say, hey, you know what? We see all these T-shirts being made and these, what is it, the board games and card games being made, and that's unlicensed. We give y'all a license. And since y'all, are the keepers of the culture for a different world, we'll give y'all a license and y'all can go out and do some officially licensed shit. We ain't gonna crush the little man making his T-shirts on the side, but let's give him some officially licensed shit. Nah, not interested.
Mm.
All right, well, let us take the show and go and do it with some new writers. Nah, not interested. All right, then forget it. I'm moving on.
Damn. I think that if that would have went the way you said it would have went, it would have been different. Would have went down as the greatest TV sitcom of all time.
And I don't want to blame, but I just shake my head. I scratch my head looking at BET like, yo, did anybody even say this in there when y'all was doing just? They had like 10 hours a day of music videos. I was like, it's black entertainment television.
Mm-hmm.
How come? How come y'all ain't at least go at NBC and be like, yo, can we get this? Can we talk to y'all about this? Can we have a discussion? Because we'd like to see if we could flip something right here. And that's two conglomerates coming together. So, when the little dude down here, the cast members say, yo, could we get that? They can look down on you and say, no. But when you got a heavyweight, another conglomerate coming at you, maybe you have a different attitude. Well, what you going to give us? Okay, well, now we can talk deals. And then maybe they figure out a way to work something out so that, okay, we'll give you the rights to go on and redo up a different world, and you give us blah, blah, blah. Or you you pay us on some returns. But just keep it going if that's important to y'all. Seemed like a slam dunk, son.
Yeah. Another role to kind of get off a different world a little bit that you were one of our favorite roles was Judge in Black Panther.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man. Talk about Black Panther a little bit. Just the impact that made back in '95, if I'm not mistaken, doing that role, and what the world look like with Black Panthers now in the forefront the way it was back then.
Wow. Oh, wow. There's some cats in Atlanta. There's some cats in Atlanta that's mobilizing and seeming to carry the torch. I forget their names, but I have seen some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the name, but we know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I seen some stuff that makes me go, wow, that feels good. That feels strong. Yeah, Mario Van Peebles came at me with Panther, and it was like I got a chance to be that guy. And it's funny growing up in New York because even though it was a worldwide thing, I was I was 5, 6 years old when that all went down, so it wasn't taught in school. And I was on the East Coast versus the West Coast. The Panthers were Bay Area cats, or at least it started there. And I was in New York, Brooklyn. So I wasn't even aware until I got the role and then started reading and figuring out what had happened, how it all went down. Yeah, that was a lot of was deep to work on that. Just that story,
Yeah.
just the constant, infiltration, the one-upsmanship. Like, okay, y'all guys are going to do something here to try to do that, or we're going to put a plant right in there, right in the middle. We're gonna infiltrate y'all and keep tabs on y'all. And Lakeith and I forget the other actor. They have a film coming out that kind of focuses on that movement.
You talking about Lakeith Stanfield and
Yeah.
Denzel's son?
John David. I don't know if John David's in it. I think it's
he's not in there, but Lakeith Stanfield's definitely in it. I know you're talking about.
It's my man from Get Out.
Yeah. He played the Black Panther too. I forgot his name.
Yeah. He's playing Fred. He's playing Fred Hampton.
Yeah.
And I think they got Lakeith in the infiltrator role. It
Daniel
seems like
Kaluuya.
Yeah, Kaluuya. Yeah,
Kaluuya.
That's gonna be. I'm excited about that. I wish I was available to go down and rock with them on that, because they were shooting in Atlanta and I was in Atlanta at the time. I was just working on something else. But yeah, that's everything that's old. I mean, everything, it always comes back around. Like you try to suppress certain things, and people still find ways to get the word out. And so we did it in '95, and now it's 2020, and they doing it again. So I'm happy to see that it hasn't. It won't be completely lost on a bunch of cats who wasn't even old enough to check Panther when we did it. You know what I mean? So hopefully it'll raise a bunch of awareness and get people to thinking and reading and acting.
Man, hold up. I'll let you go, old guy, real quick. But I remember when that movie came out, boy, we went to damn near predominantly white schools. We had some black people, some mixture, but for the most part, it was white. And when that movie dropped, boy, and we saw that shit, we went to school the next day, boy, we gave looks like, hey, you get your ass, hey, Panther, goddamn.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I remember, shoot, I had that same vibe. I went to see a movie, rest in peace, John Singleton did Rosewood.
Oh yeah.
Woo, I went to see
Yeah.
Rosewood, and the next day, everybody was going to get it. I was looking at everybody sideways like, y'all got some goddamn nerve. Yeah, man.
Not today.
Movies, but you see it. Movies, TV, the music, it inspires people to learn and to kind of dig deeper, and that's my favorite part about being a part of this, community, this artist community, Hollywood. I guess Hollywood, whatever, actors.
Now, were you played Judge on the Black Panther, and you was pressured in that movie to give up information, if I'm not mistaken. And were you familiar with people like William O'Neill? And I think he was the guy who took down Fred Hampton. Were you familiar with any of that before you got into the movie, like infiltration? And then after that, did you kind of like get into it more and like, oh, this is kind of crazy that they would do this?
Yeah, beforehand, not at all. It wasn't on my radar. And then once I got into it, it was real easy, because for an actor, the more you get on your plate, the easier it is to act. So you tell a guy he's got this to worry about, and 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 then you get to go home and kind of figure out how you're gonna convey all that worry while still being somewhat cool. Keeping your head and working with all those different things. But I didn't know about them beforehand, and afterwards, it was crazy. Like the '90s were crazy. I went from thing to thing to thing. Like it was like I was done with that. And the thing with me is I didn't like watching myself, so I didn't really sit and watch afterwards. I would just do it and let the people talk about it, and then I would go on to the next one and do it, and then let the people talk about it. So when I heard a lot about it, or a lot of feedback, I knew it was good. There was no internet at the time, so we couldn't get likes, or we couldn't get retweets or any of that. But when the people would see me on the street and holler and say I like this or I saw that or blah blah blah, then I knew we was doing all right. And if I didn't hear anything, I was like, that must have missed.
White Men Can't Jump. You talk about Vampire in Brooklyn. You talk about Black Panther, or not Black Panther, Panther. The list on and on, man. We definitely watched you throughout time, and that's why I started the show by saying Hollywood royalty, because in our eyes, in our household, goddamn it, you are. And now I get to hear you on my TV sets with my kids playing Craig Cooper on Casey. You just working, brother. So I get my next question would be, what do you got going on? I know you got the series on Netflix and you're still working. Given COVID-19 and everything, what's next for you?
Right now, I'm looking for something. Netflix decided to cancel our show that we did after one season that I really thought was good. Like, I really thought this was a hit. I thought it was saying a lot of the right things in a reasonable fashion as we did on A Different World. Like, we were hitting topics, but not with the kind of force that we did on A Different World, but subtly. We touched on a lot of things in Teenage Bounty Hunters. And a lot of people might not have seen it, but since it's done, it's worth checking out. It's worth sitting down and giving them 10 hours. So now I'm looking for something new. Now I've got the feelers out, trying to see what's going to happen next. I'm kind of sad that I'm not going back to that, because I really wanted to flesh out these characters for a couple of seasons and see where they went. But now you got to pick it up and start it over again.
Yes, sir. Vampire in Brooklyn. I'm gonna talk about that real quick. Again, like you said, one of our favorite movies. You played Eddie Murphy's driver in that movie. Can you talk about your experience working with Eddie Murphy in that movie?
Oh, wow. Ed is, he's my idol. He's the inspiration behind it all. Like, when I was 17 or 18, and I saw him on Saturday Night Live, he created a space. He kicked the door open so that everybody in Hollywood, or all the people, everybody, they wanted a fast talking young black guy because Eddie was shattering shit. And that made a space for me and Martin and Will and all of us to come right through, right behind this cavern that he made. So, and I had dreamed, in New York, just, running around New York, I had dreams that I was, I'm gonna work Eddie Murphy on the set. Y'all went in a circle.
Oh, you see us?
Y'all gone, but I can still talk.
Okay, I see us.
Having trouble connecting this can be. There you go. All right.
Okay.
So yes, I'd literally, had dreams in my sleep of working with Ed, and then all of a sudden, this script came, and I auditioned for Vampire in Brooklyn. I auditioned for it, and the tape got back to him. My audition tape got back to him, and then he called my house.
Wow.
It was like, yo, you gotta come do this. And I was like, who this? He was like, it's Ed. I was like, wait a minute. I couldn't even imagine how he got my number, but real bad boys move in silence, so I wasn't even questioning it. I was like, oh snap. And he was like, I seen all the tapes, yo. You're the only one that can do it. You gotta come do it. And I was like, all right, well, tell him to get my money right, and I'm on my way. So it was fantastic. And then we just laughed, like, he's one of my favorite people. And we just would laugh all day on set. And I learned so much that it was, probably the best time of my life. Got to be the most fun I'd ever had. Me trying to convince him to be funny as Max was epic. Like, yo, I was like, yo, you should do it like that. He was like, nah, because then people gonna laugh and they're not gonna take me seriously when I do the scary shit. Right. I was like, but still, that was so funny though. You got to do it like that. He was like, nah, I'm not doing it like that. I was like, come on, just do one time like that. I think I convinced them one time they could blow up at me in the car and be like, shut the fuck up, drive your limo. Shut up, I said, you're fired. I was like, yes, please do more Max like that. He was like, nah, I got it. Just that there. But yeah, we had an incredible time working on that. And it was with Wes Craven, who was the horror master.
Yeah.
Rest
Talk
in peace.
about Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Nah, I was just saying rest in peace to West.
Yes, sir. You see, Coming to America too, coming out, I believe, in around Christmas, and we had Linnell a couple months back, and she was talking to the critics about people that's talking about Eddie Murphy fell off and shit. She said, "Don't you say that for 1 second, because this movie's fire and it's on fire." Can you talk about just give a little bit of what you're expecting with Coming to America too? Are you excited for it?
Oh my God, are you crazy? I can't wait to Coming to America is one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
Like, people still quote that to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I got T-shirts with Randy Watson on it. Like, that boy, good, terrible. Like, come on. Yeah, I can't wait for Coming to America too. I wish I had been around to to do a little part in it, but it's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible, and there's no falling off for Ed. He's always gonna be the funniest dude in any room that is in any room. I've been in rooms with him, Chris, Dave, Earthquake, all of them, and everybody is mouse quiet when Eddie talks. They know we know the God is speaking. Like, yo, listen close, because this is a free show. You'll be talking about whatever, and you just go shh. Yeah, all the comedians are quick and they want to get in their joints too. But nah, when Ed start going, everybody lay back and listen. Yeah.
Damn. Appreciate the gold, Mr. Kadeem Hardison, man. We had Kadeem on the podcast this afternoon.
Yes.
Definitely. What a great week to start the motherfucking week to have royalty in the building. Thank you. Can you let the people know where they can find you and give some closing remarks to our loyal listeners listening to this right now? Watching.
Yeah. I'm on Twitter at my name, Kadeem Hardison, and then Instagram, the same thing, Kadeem Hardison. Facebook, I don't do too much. It's wild over there. They be acting a fool, so I left that alone.
Word. Well, yeah, man, that's all we got. We appreciate you, Mr. Kadeem Hardison. You're more than welcome to come on the platform anytime. If you're ever in the South Jersey area, around Atlantic City, we have our own building. We love to have you in here in person, man. Chop it up and get another interview, my brother.
Absolutely, y'all. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All ours, bro. Take care.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
What up, y'all? It's your man Sam, and here at Viral Hip Hop News. Go ahead and hit that like button. Smash that notification bell, and if you're not subscribed to Viral Hip Hop News, ladies and gentlemen, what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now to the brand. Appreciate each and every one of y'all, and let's get to work. All right, Jamie Foxx, all of us have been worried. All of us have been praying, or most of us have been praying and been concerned about the health and well-being of Jamie Foxx. He went down some time ago for undisclosed health reasons, very serious health reasons, even though his family and his team stay very quiet as to what those exact reasons were. There were a lot of rumors circulating, a lot of speculations being thrown around as to what those health concerns and what those health ailments were. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, all of us just hope that the brother was okay. We've seen him drop posts on his social media. We've heard friends, we've heard family say various things about Jamie Foxx. But all we hoped and prayed for is that when he was ready, in time, he came out and physically showed us all was well. He was okay and everything was good. And that seemingly happened today while ongoers were doing a thing. Looked like they were at a bay on a yacht doing a thing out there in the summertime. And out goes Jamie Foxx passing by on the yacht. As you guys can see right there, the people asked him, and I'm not playing the audio, but they let him know, hey, it's my family's birthday, yada, yada, yada. Jamie Foxx throws him a wave and a smile, you know what I mean, and just gives the basic, hey, yo, everything's okay, everything's good, we back in business. And if, in fact, this is Jamie Foxx, I know there's going to be a lot of people, this ain't Jamie Foxx, I don't believe it. If, in fact, this is Jamie Foxx, because it does appear to look as though it is, he looks like he's in good health. Looks like he's in good spirits. Looks like everything is going on. All the speculations, you know what I mean, on whether or not he could talk or walk or whatever the case. He had all of his abilities to use all of his limbs and things like that. Looked like everything's intact. He's driving a boat and shit. So everything looked good. Everything seemed to be A-okay, and hopefully we can see the brother come out and, if not give us information as to what happened, let us know that everything is good, he's okay, and whatever else he wants to tell us, you know what I mean, we'd be ready to hear and just be glad that at the end of the day we still got this brother here, because we lose too many of us for various reasons just way too soon, whether it be something tragic, via murder, via accident, health, drug-related. There's a lot of different ways that we go out and we mourn nonetheless, and we've lost too many the last couple of years. So I'm glad that Jamie Foxx does not appear to be one of them at this time, and hopefully he can continue to sustain his long career, an illustrious career, a legendary career, an iconic career, and continue to do his thing. But y'all leave a comment in the comments section. Let me know what you think of Jamie Foxx's alleged appearance back into the public eye on a yacht in the sun, doing his goddamn thing. Let me know right now how y'all feeling about that. Also, appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all seen the video in the beginning of the video, the commercial I should say. Go to the Viral Hip Hop Shop and go check out some of the merch I got going on over here at Viral Hip Hop News. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Stay tuned to the back end of this video. The Minister of Wellness and the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast had a very dope discussion about a month ago, and one of the topics were, in fact, Jamie Foxx. I'm going to play the clip of what he feels about Jamie Foxx's current health situation. Like I said, this was a few months ago, so this all precedes what we've seen and what we're witnessing today. So just keep that in mind when you watch, but enjoy it nonetheless. Great content, great information. So without further ado, Minister of Wellness, hit that like button. Love each and every one of y'all. Love yourselves. I'm out of here. Let's work.
A couple of weeks ago, was a report about Jamie Foxx, and the family since shot down a report, but they were saying that it was because he took the shot that he had these adverse effects to that. What's your thoughts on that particular report, and even the conflicting stories about him? Some people say he may have had a stroke. What's your thoughts?
I do believe it was the stick. I call it the stick.
Okay.
Because I want to be respectful of you all's platform, because they watch me closer. There's other programs and they can say the whole terms, but
yeah.
I'm telling you, brothers, there's a scrutiny that comes when you're a preacher and you get woke as a preacher. They really get scared because every revolution of our people, starting from Nat Turner to Marcus Garvey, just think about our great leaders, Nat Turner, Marcus Garvey, Minister Louis Farrakhan, they all preachers.
Yeah.
And so I'm in that mode of that. So I'm gonna call it the stick.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that that's what happened to him. I believe he had a massive stroke, and I believe that they're doing their best to cover it up because they don't want the truth about that to come out. If there's anybody that's tuning in, and if you have taken the and you need to detox, I have a 2.5-hour health lecture on how to detox from it, and you could find that on the ministerofwellness.com. I have an Unleashed news channel where all of my sermons that I could never upload on these platforms because I would be booted off within a second. You can go. I sent you all one of them through Rumble.
Yep.
And that's through. I have a small. It's a membership channel I have because I do a lot of missionary work, brothers and sisters. I am functioning as an actual ministry, so I do a lot of stuff for free. But we do have bills to pay, and so therefore I have it set up where for a small amount people can go on the ministerofwellness.com, and there you can get watch all of my full-length health messages on the stick and so forth.
Yeah, you had a very powerful conversation about the Tuskegee experiment and how that's continuing to happen to this day. So I strongly implore everybody who's interested to please go over there and check out that sermon. It is very, very powerful.
Oh, you got to watch it.
I told you I was going to watch. Check it out.